Hi, I'm Carsey.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Sam. And this is Unpacking Homelessness, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the issues surrounding homelessness in our communities. Let's get into it. Today's guest is Sylvester Bush, who experienced homelessness in Illinois, Colorado, and Washington over the course of several decades. His experience began at the age of 13, and after many years without stable housing, he secured permanent housing at age 51. 10 years later, Sylvester is involved with his church outreach ministry, Walk the Block, which connects with individuals still experiencing homelessness. He brings a unique perspective to his work as someone with lived experience. We're honored to welcome Sylvester Bush to the podcast. Welcome.
Welcome,
Thank
Sylvester.
you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. So we definitely want to hear about your outreach program that you're involved in with the church. But to get started, would you mind giving us a little bit of background on your experience and your upbringing, what led you to live, in a life that kind of struggled with shelter and things like that?
Sure. Well, my journey began in Alamogordo, New Mexico. That's where I was born. My father was in the military. He did 2 tours in Vietnam, and him and my mother got a divorce when I was still a baby, pretty much, and so I didn't know him. I lived with my mother, who took really good care of me and provided for me and took care of all my needs, pretty much. And I wanted to meet my father, and my father wanted to meet me, and so I went to go meet him at 10 in Chicago, and later on, I went to live with him when I was 12, and that's kind of when things took a downward spiral, took a turn. He had untreated PTSD. I'm not a doctor, but that's what I call it. He had no experience with raising a child or knowing what a child needs need in life to be successful and to grow up as a functioning person. So he did the best he could with what he had, but he was abusive. I was abandoned, neglected. I was tortured, so I chose to live out down the streets of Chicago instead of staying at home with, and my stepmother was very mean to me as well. She didn't like me to eat her food, and she didn't want me to sleep on the furniture or bed. So I slept on the floor, and she didn't even want to give me a blanket. So it was easier for me to stay on the streets than to live with her. So, and living on the streets in Chicago, I was kind of taken in by gangsters who was trying to get me to be as ruthless as they were. But I think what saved me was my poor nature that I developed when I lived with my mother. And I never told my mother about the things I experienced in Chicago. And I think when I went to go live with my father, it broke her heart because she begged me not to go, and I went anyway. So when I was 16 and I decided I wanted to go back with her, she didn't want me anymore. So I ended up living in abandoned car vehicles. And when I couldn't eat, I was actually starving. You can't tell that now. I put on quite a bit of weight. But, at that time I was, the doctors had done blood samples on me, told me I was starving. So I experienced I went back to Chicago and I moved around from place to place, sofa to sofa, house to house, and uh, I experienced a lot of violence. I had basically I was traumatized. I was shot at. I jumped by gangs. Uh, I witnessed people get murdered. One person died in my hands. Uh, so it was my life was pretty traumatic and full of drama. In fact, every time I opened my eyes, I felt like there should be a theme song, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but so when I turned 18, I was on probation. Uh, well, I had just received probation for breaking and entering, and the judge he didn't want to send me to jail. He told me that he was going to give me the least punishment that he could, which was 2 years probation. And I asked him if I could have my probation transferred. He asked me why. I told him I was either two things was going to happen. I was either going to end up in front of him again, or I was going to end up dead. So he let me transfer my probation and I never did that again. But I left Chicago and I started drinking and drugging while I was 13 in Chicago, primarily because I was scared. I just terrified pretty much, and the drugs and alcohol kind of helped me to cope with it.
Yeah.
Uh, when I was 18 and I left Chicago and I went to Denver, uh, I continued to drink. I stopped doing the drugs, but I continued to drink. And my mother would tell me that she thought I had a drinking problem. Of course, like every alcoholic in the throes of their addiction, they said, no, I'm good. I'm fine. Which is what I did. I didn't see a problem with it. You know, I knew I drank just fine. I didn't need any help. So
Mm-hmm.
so that went on for years, and I went and I continued struggling with uh, housing. I had my first apartment working with Mayflower Moving Company, and uh, I continued to drink and things just I just would get an apartment, I lose an apartment, I get a job, I lose a job, I get another job, lose that job, get another place to live, lose that place, and it just went on that way for years. And my sister, when I was 31, I had graduated from Denver Tech College. I got a degree. Well, I got my GED when I was 18 in Colorado, and because I thought knowledge was important, so I thought I needed to get knowledge, and so I got my GED, and when I was 28, I went to college at Denver Tech, and I got a associate degree as a drafter, and I was recruited by Stone and Webster engineering firm in Greenwich Village in right outside of Denver, kind of major engineering corporation, and I lost that job because I had began to use crack cocaine, and I couldn't stop. Uh, Not to mention, I needed a drink just to get going in the morning. So I lost that job, and just the saga just continued. Homelessness, housing somewhere, sometimes lose the housing, and it went on that way for years. I get good jobs, different engineering firms. My sister got stomach cancer. She died in my hands while I was confident her in my arms, and she died, took her last breath while I was holding her, and that was, you know, all of it was kind of hard to deal with, but you know, it was just too much, and so I left Denver, and I put some clothes in a backpack and got on a Greyhound and came up to Seattle, Washington, and uh, and I chose Seattle, Washington because I saw a movie with I can't think of the name with Richard Pryor and Cicely Tyson, where Richard Pryor was driving Cicely Tyson and a bunch of kids across the country to go to Seattle to go to Washington, and they had all kind of adventures, encounters on the way, and they finally made it there. And I thought
Mm.
Washington was so beautiful. It felt like home, so I wanted to come up to Washington and visit. So that's how I ended up. But my sister died. She was going to come with me, but she got sick and she died from stomach cancer. And so I when things just got too much, and I was came up to Seattle, and I I thought, yeah, this is a fresh start, but it was just the same old thing in a different location. I get a job, I lose the job, get a place, I lose the place. And when I was 38, I think I went back to Denver thinking that I was going to be able to change and take care of my mother, but it was just the same old thing in another location, drinking, drugging, uh, get a job, lose a job, get a place, lose a place. Uh, and I got hooked up with Housing First in Denver, and I got a place through them, and they was trying to help me to cope with my substance use, and I really wanted to quit, really bad. I remember one time I had right after I lost the job with Stone and Webster, I was walking to the liquor store to get something to drink, and it dawned on me that how out of control my life was, and I just began to cry, and I thought, the hospital, because that's where sick people go for help. And I didn't classify myself for help as sick, but I didn't know where else to go. So I went to the hospital and they put me in my very first treatment at Washington House after they kept me in detox for over a week, for almost 2 weeks. And kept me in detox for that time and then sent me to Washington House, and that was my first treatment facility. And I remember they held hands at the end of the meeting, and that was was not there. I was not there. So I stood outside of the meeting, refusing to hold anybody's hand. I wasn't going to hold their hands. And then it was even worse because they didn't hold hands; they hugged. So that was even worse. So I but I hug everybody now, and I don't care.
Yeah.
It feels good. I need a hug a day,
Oh, I
but
love that.
Good for you.
yeah. So I I came back here to Seattle. Housing First helped me to come get back to Seattle. They put all my stuff because I had a nice apartment uh in Aurora, Colorado. Uh and I had, they had put all my stuff in storage, and the plan was for me to come back to Seattle, and I thought that there was something here that I needed that I didn't get before, and so I came back up here to get it, and of course, when I first got here, see, I was man, how old was I? That was in 2007. It's 2025, so almost 20 years ago, like 18 years ago, came up here. So yeah, I was well, I don't I'm not good with math, but you can figure it out.
Yeah.
So uh I came up here and it was the same old thing. get a place, lose a place, get a job, lose a job, and this time I had a vehicle. I had a Blazer that which I loved. I kept it clean. I kept it. I took care of the motor. I changed the oil regularly, and you know, I everything. And I lost the vehicle, and I had got money from the insurance company, $7,000. It's just a lot of money for somebody with a substance use issue. So I got that $7,000 and I just went buck wild. And I found myself in back of the Union Gospel Mission downtown Seattle. And I was dirty. I had sores all over my face and arms, and some of them was leaking fluids. And I just looked up to the heavens, and I just asked God to please help me. And I went to the front of the mission and asked them if I can get in their program, and they had one of the counselors come down and talk to me. Told me I couldn't get in the program because by this time I was no longer able to walk with a mobility device. I use a wheelchair now, and I use a walker inside my apartment. Uh, my When I guess I was 16 and I was running from the police and I jumped off a two-story building to get away, and I think it
Oh,
damaged my hips. I got away from the police then, but it caught up with me later.
Oh my.
that's a big jump.
It was a big jump, but that's part of my story.
Yeah. You had
uh,
adrenaline going, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah, the adrenaline was definitely fun. Uh, so anyway, I couldn't. I needed a walker to get around it at that time, and they told me that because of that, I couldn't get into their program. Because their program is a work program, and
Mm.
you have to be able to do chores. You have to be able to work, and I couldn't do that because of my disability. And they had a verse in the cafeteria where everybody ate. They fed the homeless populations 3 meals a day, and I was part of that population. And they had verse on the wall that says, "Come unto me, all you who are heavy laden, who are who are who are heavy laden in labor, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And I told him you should take that verse down because it applies to God, it applies to Jesus, but not really to you. See, God is all inclusive, but you're kind of selective. So, because I told him that verse doesn't really apply to you, so you should take that down. And so, for a month, I would not leave the block. I was scared to leave the block. People would come and offer me to come and join them to get high, and I just refused. I told them I was done. I didn't want to get high anymore, and they would tell me you'll be back, and I told them no, I'm not never going back. And but every day I would see the counselors coming in and going from the building, and I would tell them because I said outside the front door, I would tell them I'm still sober every day. And so one day they said they were going to let me in the program, and I got into the program at Union Gospel Mission, and I graduated from the program. I got the certificate right here, and I got. They told me, before when it was time for me to leave, they thought that I should have a lot of money saved up because I get disability. And I told them, when you was growing up, you probably had parents that taught you how to save money and be responsible. And I said I didn't have that. I don't know how to save money. So all the money that I got, I spent. That's what I learned to do was to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mhm.
I ate when I could, and the money that I got, I spent it right away, and that's what I learned. So they reconsidered that, and then they helped me find a place that I could move to. And I lived in shared a house with a few guys, and then um, I was getting food stamps, and on the food stamps they ask you, do you need any help with anything, like with cleaning up, or do you need a caregiver kind of? And I told them, I put on there, yeah. And so pretty soon they contacted me, what the agent and disability people and department, and then the counselor that was assigned to me, she got me hooked up with Section 8, and uh, then I got the apartment that I live in now. And at the same time, I was working with DVR, Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. I first learned from them in Denver, but they're nationwide. I don't know if that office is going to last too much longer because of the current administration and the presidency. But uh, so I have an apartment here at Burien in the Lark Apartments, and I'm getting ready to graduate from college. I started an internship at Matt Talbert Center, where they help people that are experiencing substance use and homelessness, which is the demographic I wanted to work with. And so I'm pretty much getting everything that I wanted in life, and I'm pretty blessed. And so that's where I'm at now, and I'm getting ready to graduate this June 12th. I'll be doing my the ceremony, adorn the cap and gown, and roll up to the platinum in my wheelchair and receive my degree. And I've applied for enrollment for a BAS in human services to continue my education. So God has blessed me. I looked up to the heavens and asked him for help, and he's helped me. So
Wow.
where I'm at now.
I just want to clap. You guys want to clap?
Yeah. Kinda.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, Sylvester. Wow.
I know, I'm
I
like
mean,
wiping away a tear actually.
I mean, it's because, yeah, and it's like a happy tear because it's like,
Yeah.
wow, like, and I just want to say that I mean, you've been on the light side and the dark side. You've made good choices and maybe choices that you probably at times have like shamed yourself for, but I just
Oh
want to
yeah.
say that, the your perseverance and your motivation to, I mean, from such a young age to tell that judge, like, move me, transfer my probation, like that decision, the decision to get your degree at 31, that hard decision to call your mom at 16 and say, I made a mistake, like I want to come home, um, those show your character. I mean, those really show your character. The other decisions, on the darker side, those seem like decisions that almost anybody experiencing that kind of trauma, that's a default. That's almost like a natural, like the wanting to check out, the wanting to do drugs, the maybe at times, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe not feeling deserving of the life that you were chasing, because you got that job as an engineer, but you were still struggling with drugs and alcohol. Those seem like default responses to what you've been through, whereas those moves that you made to get yourself out of it, those are really a testament to your character. And it really goes to show what happens when a naturally good hearted person is just put in these situations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. Wow, thank you.
No problem. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, and I barely know you, but I think I can speak for all of us, and it's just like I feel so proud to know you. I feel so proud of you for being
Thank
able
you.
to do that. There are so many people who can't who can't take that long path of getting out, and bounce back from all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or have
But
too
the
much.
key is to never give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or have too much
Good for you.
pride to ask for help,
Yeah.
to get a hold of the.
Humility plays a big part.
Yeah.
You have you have to show the humility to ask for help, to know that you need help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to go back to a couple little points that you brought out, if you would elaborate, because I'm curious.
Yeah,
So your
sure.
sister, I know that it's the way that we were speaking, it sounds like you guys were pretty close by the time she had passed. Um,
Well, we had bumped heads. We
mm,
was on and off because uh when I left to live with my father, and then when I came back, she had chosen a lifestyle that I did not like.
mm,
And so I didn't want to have anything to do with her. And my mother and my youngest sister, they came to find me, and I was on my way for to work. I was working for RTD, driving the bus, and they came. I was on my way to the gym to work out, and they found me going in the door and told me that my sister. They didn't think my sister was gonna survive the night, and that I needed to come and say goodbye to her. And I told him that I didn't want to, and I said some other things that I should not have said, and but my mother was pretty insistent, and my sister, and so I reluctantly went with him. And as soon as I saw my sister, she was very frail and shrunken, and she began to cry, and she told me when she started crying, I started crying, and she told me she was sorry that she couldn't be a better big sister to me. And I reciprocated, told her I was sorry that I wasn't a better brother to her. And I regret that I treated her the way I did,
mm,
that I didn't embrace her for the person that she was and not the person that I thought she should be. Uh, so I regret that. Uh, There's nothing I can do about it. My life now is I can't do anything. My mother passed away. Uh, I was staying with her. I went to back to Denver to get my truck, and I was it found out she was sick. So
mm,
I ended up staying with her and taking care of her. Uh, and I went into the living room one day, and she was dead. I tried to revive her and I couldn't. And I called 911 and they told me what I need to do to give her CPR. And I tried that, and nothing I did worked. And the paramedics finally arrived and they was giving her CPR, and they was working on her, and she had a letter of no resuscitation, living will, of no, not to resuscitate her.
mhm,
So they started working on it, and that was that. And so of course I went on a drinking and drug binge, and I finally went back to Seattle. I figured I might as well move there permanently because I really didn't. I wanted to show my mother that I could be a good son, but I never got that chance.
mm.
So, but uh, so here I am in
Well,
Seattle. I came back to Seattle, and my sister, she's gone, and my mother's gone, and I have four other sisters, no brothers. I have five sisters,
Oh, wow.
and where do
and
you fall in the line of all your siblings?
I was the second to the oldest.
Oh, okay. So girl, boy, girl,
Yeah,
girl, girl, girl.
exactly. Yeah.
That's a lot of
So
girls in one house.
a lot of girls. I had a brother, but he passed away from SIDS.
Oh, goodness. I'm
So
so
I
sorry.
never knew him. I just know that he
Yeah.
exists.
That's a lot of trauma for your family to carry, though. And you feel that even as a child, even if you don't know them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was losing my brother and then when I left to live with my father it was too much, was very hard on my mother.
Mm.
She
Yeah.
pleaded with me not to go and I went anyway. I wish I would have listened to her.
Can
you
I
know.
ask I mean, obviously this was a long time ago. It sounds like you were really young, but what was your reasoning behind going to live with your dad? Was there a reason for that?
Yeah, I had an ideology of him being like father knows best or
Mm.
the all the TV shows, My Three Sons, or all the TV shows with the father was a good, loving, and caring person,
Mm.
and uh, I wanted that. I didn't know I wanted that for me, and I was selfish. I didn't think about how it would affect anybody else. Of course, I was a kid. I didn't know to think that way. I guess,
Mm-hmm.
like most kids, I thought about what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. It was the total opposite. It turned out to be more of a nightmare than a happy fairy tale.
That's so sad. You went into it with such good intentions, and but kids, we're not supposed to know everything like that. Like kids should have that space and that security to be able to take risks and make decisions and learn from them. And you were really let down, right? Like
Oh yeah.
that is not your fault. That was not your fault. That was, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I wish my mother would have said, "Nah, you," because she knew who he was. Or she would
Mm.
have just said, "No, you're not gonna go live with him. You're gonna stay here." But
Mm-hmm.
she let me make my own choice.
Was she was she a single mom? Did she have a partner or?
No, no, I had a stepfather,
Mm.
and he was a decent guy.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was a decent guy. Of course, he was my stepfather. He wasn't my father,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
and I knew he was, that he was not my father, and so that was a barrier, But he was a good guy. He did his best. I mean, he married my mother. And she already had kids, so
Yeah.
he was a good guy.
Well, Sylvester, I'm trying to picture as a 13-year-old, I didn't move out till I was 17, 18, and I did not feel prepared. So at the age of 13, I can only imagine of what that must have been like. What can you tell us about the first few nights? What was that like? Did you know anybody that was on the street? How did that whole thing kick off?
Well, I uh I think at 12 I had already began to hang out more in the streets than I did stay at my father's house. Well, actually, it was my stepmother's house, but they were married, so I call it my father's house because he was the one that was responsible for me, ultimately. But I had already established relationships. I had a good friend, my friend Little Bit, Johnny Guyton. He was a good guy, and I stayed at his house for a few days when I finally did move out. And his parents were real nice to me, and I stayed with the older guys that we stayed with. They were already in their 20s, and I would stay over with them sometimes, and I just moved from house to house, and I experienced a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine.
I wonder, have you is, when I think about all the things that you've been through, I mean, it's honestly, I can't even really wrap my head around it, to be honest. Um, were you able to get therapy and like the resources to help sort of, I mean, you're able to retell your story in a way that seems like you've maybe done it a few times.
Yeah, I'm in counseling now.
Yeah.
I've been counseling for several years now. Uh, I go to counseling at through Harborview.
Mm.
Uh, I have a mental health counselor. I started off with a psychiatrist, and I remember the first time that I went to talk to the psychiatrist. She told me that I had the mental makeup of a serial killer.
Oh,
Oh, I don't pick up on that.
I
Wow.
don't either. Wow.
She said that I'm very surprised that you turned out as well as you did. And I guess what she meant is that most serial killers had
Ah,
trauma in their early life.
Have you had a chance to work with youth or kind of reciprocate your experience with
I
somebody else
have,
who's going through it?
yes,
That must have been
I,
rewarding.
well,
What was that
yes.
like?
Uh, I find that the guys are real receptive and they're very attentive. I guess some of them they relate to some of the struggles and to hopefully my message to them is that don't give up. Just never give up. And that's my message. Just never give up. And I know be out and seek help. If you need help, we're here to help. You know, but if we don't know you need help, we can't help you. So, or we don't know what you need help with, we can't help you. You gotta be your own advocate. You have to
that's
talk up.
that's that humility part you were talking about earlier.
Yes, yes. You have to humble yourself.
Yeah.
Sylvester, I'm wondering about what sort of resources did you come across in the decades of not having a home? Were there programs? Was there people that approached you to introduce you to options out there, or how much of a how much access did you have to that in Chicago
Well,
and Denver?
I had none in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know of any. I didn't know that I need to look for any. I was a kid, so I
Sure.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went with the flow, kind of. And but once I got to Denver and found myself in the same situation, and people on the street would tell me, well, you can go here, you can go there, and I began living in shelters, and the people in the shelters would try to help me to you know uh, be better, to escape homelessness. I think in the beginning, because of my pride, I knew I needed help. I wanted help, but I just could not receive the help.
Mm.
Uh, I was my own worst enemy. The old saying, your enemy is the inner me. It's not it's not them, it's you, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm my worst enemy. So that's who I was. I was hindering myself from receiving the help that people was trying to give me.
Yeah.
Uh, so I stayed sick, and it wasn't until I surrendered that, I received all kind of help, DVR in Denver, DVR here, food stamps, counseling, job counseling, coaching, uh, just, people provided food, shelter for me, clothing. Uh, I was in the Salvation Army a few times. I was in Denver Rescue Mission a couple of times. I, in fact, I had to go to court right when my sister was sick. Had just got acquitted from first degree burglary and first degree assault. I was dating this woman and I called her on the phone, told her it wasn't working out.
Mm.
So she called the police and told them I broke in the house and beat her up. And Even though I told them I wasn't even in town in that same town as her, they told me to tell it to the judge. So I had to go to trial and prove my innocence. And I really had to work to get my lawyer to be on my side and to fight for me. But in
Mm.
the end, I got acquitted. And uh, but and my sister was dying, and it was just too much. And that's when I decided to leave. But I had all kind of help. Denver Rescue Mission, the Samaritan, the shelter, the Samaritan's house. Worked stayed there a few times. Uh, Phoenix housing, for housing first. So yeah, I've worked with a lot of agencies, a lot of agencies.
Mm. I have a question for you. So, you mentioned that you were kind of taken into a gang when you were, it sounds like about 12. Is that right?
Yep,
And you left when you were 18-ish?
yep, I escaped.
Yeah, you escaped. That's kind of what I wanted to ask. So what a couple questions about that. So what do you think it was about you that made this gang feel interested in recruiting you?
They thought that I was pretty sharp. I think uh I was not like them, and that appealed to them. Uh, so I was different.
Hmm, interesting. And the psychology of being a part of a gang seems pretty complicated, right? It sounds like I don't want to put words in your mouth, but coming from a place where it felt like maybe you didn't have a place to be, and then having this group of people accept you on these conditions that you behave in a certain way and you do what they say. Can you elaborate a little bit on that experience, assuming that it's a comfortable thing for you to talk about?
Sure. Being hanging out with the gang, it was, the gang members, the gangsters, they were trying to shape me, mold my mind to be like them,
Hmm.
to be ruthless and not caring. I asked one of my friends who how could, he killed people, and they were killers, and they were drug dealers, and they raped people, and uh, they robbed banks, and they had robbed a bank one time, and they did bad things, and they wanted me to be like them. And I asked my friend, "How can you kill somebody so easily?" And he said, "It's easy. You just put the gun to their head and pull the trigger." And I didn't ask him any more questions about it. I knew that I couldn't be like that. But I knew also, I think another thing that appealed to him is that I had inner rage.
Mm.
And I was pretty quiet most of the time, just watching. And I was with my back against the wall, so no one could sneak up behind me. But I will watch. But when I was uh when I had to defend myself, I got pretty vicious. And one thing my father did do was he made me take martial arts for a year, and he told me he didn't want me to be running to him talking about I got beat up. So, and I did learn a few things in it. And another thing, the older guys will have us put on boxing gloves, and we will have sparring matches, and I was pretty successful in that. So I knew how to protect myself, and I had an inner anger, a rage inside me. Uh, so, but living with the gangs, they would always give me advice on what I should do, uh, how I should do it. They would tell me, go do this, and I would do it. They, I remember I had 3 fights in one day. They told me to go beat this guy up. They called it checking him, because he had gave the police some information about them. And so they told me to go and check him. So I went around there and I did. And I took his hat and his friends came back and they wanted to fight. And I had left the liquor store and I thought that, you know, for some reason the liquor stores would sell me liquor. I don't know why. They did. They did care.
Yeah, they probably just cared about your money, so they were
Pretty
happy.
much. And so I was drinking the wine I got, and the guys came in, there was about 6 or 7 of them, and they was gonna jump in. Some of the older guys was walking down the street and told them, all you guys aren't gonna fight him, he'll fight one of you." And so I picked the biggest one, and we got out there, and right when we started fighting, the alcohol hit me. So I was kind of woozy trying
Mm.
to fight. I got beat up. I had 2 black eyes, and the face was swollen, and the third fight I had got beat up to the point where it sobered me up. So I was sitting on the porch and the guys came and they asked me if I had enough and I shook my head no. And they asked me if I wanted some more. I shook my head yes, so they rushed me.
Oh, you stubborn SOB.
Yeah. So I won that fight, and the fight I had hit a guy with a chair and let the chair go wide, hit him so I could grab another guy, and the guy I threw over a banister, he had picked up some chair and he threw it at me, and I ducked and it hit Ricky's window, and it broke it, and Ricky and Mew they came out and these guys they tried to run, but Ricky caught one of them and he grabbed him by his throat and he asked him who broke his mother's window, and the guy stuttered and Ricky slammed him on the ground by his neck and snatched him back up, and he asked him, "What did you say?" And the guy just passed out, and so that they wanted me to be like them. They were pretty vicious
Mm.
people,
Yeah.
and
So, so after, these years, 6 years or so within this gang, how did you get to the point of saying I need to leave?
uh well, my friend Alvin, the one I asked, "How can you kill somebody?"
Mhm.
He had he was going to court for a triple homicide, and he went to the store. He robbed the store, and he was leaving, and the store manager shot him in the jaw, and he turned around and shot the store manager in the head and everybody else in the store, and he killed everybody but one person, and so he was going to court for triple homicide, and they wanted me to kill the one witness. And I told him I wasn't going to do it. And at the same time, I was going to court for breaking and entering. And they kept putting pressure on me to kill this guy. And felt like that song by War, Slipping in the Darkness. I knew if I did that, I wasn't going to come back. And and I was getting to the point where I didn't think I had an option. Uh, but when I went in front of the judge, in fact, it all happened in sequence. I had a vision. I was in darkness, and the hand of God came down and brought me out of the darkness. And a couple of days later, right before my trial, a guy I've never seen before stopped me and told me it was time for me to leave Chicago. I didn't belong there anymore. And when I went to court for my break and entering, the judge told me uh, that he was going to give me 2 years probation and let me transfer my probation. I knew at that time that I was leaving. When he told me that he was going to let me transfer my probation, I went, I left right after I signed the papers from the probation office. I went to home to my father's house, put some stuff in a bag, a suitcase, and went to the O'Hare airport and caught a plane to Denver. And that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's I just can't I can't commend you enough for being in that situation and being able to make a clear-headed decision about, okay, I'm done with this now. I'm going to try. And even though, you know, it sounds like you had quite a few false starts, and who can blame you? Your lights have always been on, and that is so beautiful. It sounds like you've had this tether to God or spirituality throughout your life.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
feels
so,
like
yeah, it's true. You're a child of God. I mean, really, we all are, whatever you call
it.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, I call God the universe, but it's really semantics, in my opinion.
Okay.
But it's really beautiful that your faith has been something that you've felt grounded in even throughout all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. He brought me through a lot.
Yeah. What a
So
cruel world. It seems like a lot of exploitation. Like you're exploited for your childhood anger. Any little kid would be angry and have that inside them for like what you've been through with having these high hopes of going to see your father, and then him kind of letting you down, and his wife being so cruel to you, and then like, I mean, that's just a recipe for anger, right? And then that being exploited like it's a commodity, like it's a good thing you have this anger, like, oh, we can use
yeah.
that
Yeah,
anger, right? And
manipulated.
then yeah, and then you have this stubbornness, which is really this like pride, which could be a good thing, that was also exploited, and man, just like one thing after another, it just makes me, I mean, I break my heart for the younger you that went through that, but it makes it, my heart breaks for kids being exposed to that now. But I just wonder, like, so with this new career you're about to get into, or that you're already into with this internship, but you're about to get your degree and go
Yes.
on, and do your thing. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish with that degree? What do you hope to see yourself doing in 5 years from now?
Uh, my sole ambition is to help as many people as I can. In fact, I was sitting in my apartment one day looking around at all that God has blessed me. I got a few guitars, nice amp,
Oh, nice.
and
Do you
that
play the guitar, it sounds like?
I do. And so got some sound effects and everything, and this nice computer and printer and
That's
furniture.
awesome.
I was looking around and at all that God had blessed me with from that time that I was in back in the Union Gospel Mission to now. And I was thinking, what do I do now? And at that time I was 59, 58. And so I said, I didn't know. So I thought, well, I guess I just wait to die, and the Lord told me, no, that's not how we do it. You got to be busy. You're a servant.
Mm.
Jesus said, I didn't come to be served, but to serve. And him being my Lord, I have to follow his example. And I have to be a service to my fellow men, to my brothers and my sisters and the people that are struggling. He told me, I was like, what do I do? And he said, well, you got a lot of experience with drug use. so,
Mm.
so I thought, okay, well, he told me to help people that are in a place that I used to be. So I through DVR, uh, got enrolled myself at Highline College, and now I'm getting ready to graduate, and I'm doing my internship.
Who knows the struggle of overcoming addiction better than you? I
Mhm.
mean, that mixed
Struggle.
with like the education and the academic side of it, taking those classes,
Yeah.
you're
It's so
going to be best
inspiring.
suited for it. It is very inspiring.
Are
Well, I
you guys
wonder
twins?
what's
Are
that?
we twins?
Yeah, I was asking Sam. Are
No.
you guys twins? You guys look
Oh, me
alike.
and Sam, no. Thank you, though. We have strong genetics in our family.
Yeah, we have
Are you,
strong
you
genes.
guys sisters?
We are
You
sisters.
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys look so much alike.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. That's
compliment.
a compliment
Yep.
to me.
See?
It is a compliment. Both pretty
So,
ladies.
Oh, thanks, Sylvester.
We have a brother, just real quick, too, Sylvester.
Yeah.
We have a brother who grew up with a bunch of sisters as
Yeah.
Really?
well.
Yes.
Yeah, that
In
poor guy.
fact, yeah, and in fact,
Yeah.
not to get too far
Yeah.
into a lot of the similarities, but a lot of your story, I found myself being like, oh, there's things in that I think we've had, uh, n not through us, but through our stepfather, has been through certain things too, and it makes my heart grow so big to just think about children going through these really hard experiences and how just like I do not agree with that therapist that said that you seemed like a serial killer background or whatever, but I can see what she was saying, like that you went through a lot of adversity and a lot of people can't take that and return to their goodness after being through all of that. And you have. And one of the things that I wanted to get into a little bit is your involvement with Walk the Block and what
Yes.
that's, yeah, tell us a little bit about that right now.
Well, that's with my church by the side of the road.
Mm,
Uh, Pastor Terrence Proctor. Uh, we have several ministries, and so I wanted to be involved. And they had Walk the Block, and I thought, well, that's a good ministry I can be really get into because it's working, doing what I want to do, pretty much,
mhm,
helping people.
mm,
So we go out and we hand out people, we hand out hygiene kits, toothbrushes, whatever they need, and socks and gloves when it's cold, and coats and hats and a lot of socks. Uh, we hand that stuff out, pants, just clothing and hygiene kits, and I try to encourage them not to give up, to stay alive,
mm,
and we pray for them and we talk with them and try to encourage them to. I also have a list of resources that I give them where they can get help if they want it, to help them get off the streets. So that's what Walk the Block is. And summertime we hand out water to keep people hydrated so they don't, so they can stay refreshed.
mm.
You know?
Have you had an opportunity to talk to some of the people that you're interacting with and sort of share parts of your story
Oh
with them?
yeah, a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yep, I have, and a couple of people took the information and said that they were going to try to get in recovery. A couple of people were waiting to get into recovery, and so I into treatment. I was just saying not recovery, but in treatment. Uh, and so I would tell them, my story, and tell them, don't ever give up. One of the things I learned on my journey that I will always remember, I was at Teen Challenge for a year. My pastor, where I'm doing my internship at now, they used to have a treatment facility on the weekdays and church services on Sunday. And so he was one of my first pastors, uh, and he wanted to send me to Teen Challenge because I kept messing up. And at first, he told me a little bit about it. It was a pig farm. They have them all over the country and outside the country. The Cross and the Switchblade. David Wilkerson is the founder. He started that way back in the 50s or early 60s, I think. And he wanted to go to New York to help some youth that was living on the streets. And some of them had um, killed somebody, and the whole town the whole city wanted to prosecute them, persecute these kids, and he said he wanted to go down and support them and to encourage them, and while he was doing that, he would meet a lot of other kids that was on the streets, and they would started having meetings, and it was they were involved in all kind of different things, and he wanted to help them. And a few of them, uh, what's his name? Something Nicky Cruz. He was one of the kids. He started Victory Outreach, and uh, that's how Teen Challenge started. And so I was in my pastor wanted to send me to Teen Challenge, it's a faith-based program, and he told me it was a pig farm. And I told him the only way I want to see a pig is on my plate sizzling, and so so I nixed that right away. But I was on probation at the time for a VOSTA for um, um, conspiracy to deliver a controlled substance in downtown Seattle. And so I was on probation for that, and I kept messing up because I had these issues, substance use issues. So instead of me going to prison, I talked my probation officer into letting me go to Teen Challenge instead. And so I went to Teen Challenge. My pastor sent me there. He bought me a ticket, gave me a sack lunch, and sent me on my way.
And that's the pig farm, the team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pig
So you
farm.
ended up on the pig farm. How'd you like
Yep.
it? You actually taking
Well,
care of pigs? Is it like what
yeah.
it sounds like? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, actually, and for the first time, the first few months, it was pretty brutal. They didn't have hot water when you take a shower. I went in January, so it was cold in
Oh,
Spokane,
wow.
Oh
Washington.
man.
Yeah, it was cold, and we had to take ice cold showers because they didn't have water heaters.
Good
Eventually, some
morning.
people, huh?
Said good morning. Like
Right?
wake up at
And you
5
have to
a.m., take
with
a cold
working with
shower.
pigs, you definitely have to take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't smell like lilacs, that's for sure. So you had to take a shower. And so for the first few months they had me working with this farmer named Mr. Bailey. He was an older guy, had big old bushy eyebrows, he wore overalls and boots and a big old 10-gallon hat and tobacco stains in the corner of his mouth. He told me he was a redneck and a rebel too, and but I learned a lot from Mr. Bailey, and I learned how to take care of the pigs, and I wasn't afraid of them anymore. But every morning when I woke up, I would tell myself, "I'm out of here," you know. And I would go tell the director, "Man, I'm out of here. I gotta go." And every time he would tell me to hold on, just give it one more day, give it one more day. And every day for months, my man, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Please take me to the Greyhound. And so I ended up staying there the whole year. At the end of the year, and another thing, I was always in trouble. I always ended up working on the weekends because on the weekends we had the day off. But everybody but me
Yeah,
and
not
whoever
you.
else was on discipline. Yeah. And because I was just too rebellious. I could not follow rules. And so every weekend I'd be down on the farm, cleaning up the pig pens or scrubbing the walls or feeding them and helping build buildings. And it just kept me busy all the time. And towards the end, I stopped getting in trouble. And I really appreciated the program. But one of the things that I learned while I was in the program is that people have more in them than they think they do. And I try to relay that to people that on the streets that want to give up and let them know there's more in you than you can see. Don't give up. You're just a diamond in a rough. Don't give up. Just hold on. Keep pushing. You're gonna get there. Just don't give up. So that's my message to them. Just never give up. Keep trying. Keep working. You'll get there.
Yeah. When you were talking, I wrote down strong spirit. And I just as you keep telling your story, whether you're, you know, maybe not doing the best things or you're doing great things, your spirit is so strong, and I just think it's just really inspiring. It's inspiring to talk to
Thank you.
you and to just hear how you are so resilient, and when you set your mind to something, you do it. It's really, really impressive.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mm,
I really do. Uh,
yeah. All right, Sylvester, I can't think of a better way to end. Just thank you for all the incredible work you're doing. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for being able to admit, maybe the places where you weren't working with all the information. You didn't know all the things, right? And
Right.
now you're turning it around and you're doing these really incredible heart-led things. And I can't wait for you to graduate. I can't wait to see all of the incredible impact you're going to make in the world by using your gifts.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
to all you
conversation.
guys. It was nice being with you.
It was our pleasure.
Very
Yeah,
nice
it
talking
really
with you,
was.
Sylvester.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. This was a very eye-opening conversation, and yeah, just so important. And I think our audience is going to get a lot from it. And I know it can be really hard to share and relive some of these experiences. You expressed to us before this conversation started that you have a very good support system, just in case some of this is drudging up a little too much and it's going to be a little painful over the next days. You have a good, strong support system there for you. So
Yep.
that we're not just opening this can of worms and then leaving you hanging for
Yeah.
out there. So I'm glad that you've built up such a good community and you have people that are gonna be there for you, and sounds like you're a really strong support for other people as well. So thank you, from the bottom of my heart,
Thank
for
you.
having this conversation and being brave enough to go over some of that.
Yeah. And let's stay in touch. We'd love to hear what you do with your degree and what you're learning and
Definitely.
we'd love to keep in touch. Yeah.
Definitely. You can definitely do that. Yeah.
We love
That
that.
would be great.
Thank
That
you.
would be great. All right,
Thank
Sylvester, have
you.
an awesome weekend. This was
You
truly our
too.
honor. Thank you so much.
Nice talking with you guys. Nice seeing you
too.
again.
You
We'll
too.
see you
You
soon.
too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sylvester.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Unpacking Homelessness. This episode was produced and edited by us. Our theme song is by Eric Lawson. You can find more of his music at soundcloud.com/eelaws. If you or someone you know would like to contribute to our show, get in touch with us at unpackinghomelessness@gmail.com. Until next time.